YouTube, it's the Dev Diary number 5, City Skylines II, City Services. This is 28 pages long, and for the comparison's sake, I believe the previous Dev Diary was like 16 pages long in this program. We got a lot to go over, but you can see I'm prepared. I have highlighted things, and I have left comments in things. So twitch.tv/toadiezzz, we're gonna chat through it, and you too could be part of this if you come over here and tell me that you think my cities are the best. Okay, thanks. YouTube does smell bad. It's true. It's true. Oh, JJ, I'm so envious. I just want to do, JJ and I were chatting in Discord, and JJ has made me want to play a snowfall map with canals. And we're gonna do this, like, honestly, I think I'm gonna pull up my Excel sheet that organizes my content, and I think we're gonna do that soon. By soon, I mean like in a month, so. Oh yeah, what Ras said. Ras, you're so much better at this than I am. Seta, thank you. Okay, Seta's my favorite. All right, gang, Dev Diaries, number 5, City Services. So I was extraordinarily surprised when a Dev Diary about services was 28 pages long. That's nuts. That's wild. That's wild to me. Basically, the green highlighting is something that I think is very good. The green is me saying, hey, this is good. I like this. Blue is me saying, just make sure that you read this out loud. And then the yellow is ones that I have actual comments left on. So that's my color coding. It's really intuitive, I know. What are you gonna say, Joe? They did drop some bombs in here, yeah. Oh, that's probably not great for the old YouTube algo. Oh no. Oh, is that a bad thing for Diablo 4? Okay, good thing. Yeah, that's awesome, Joe. I would agree with that. Throughout this whole process, I've been really recognizing that I'm incredibly optimistic for cities. I'm generally a positive person anyways. Like, I try to express positivity. And so, like, I get that I have a bias, but even when I really try to look at things neutrally, I'm super pleased with the development of CS2, you know? Yeah, Jones. I would like that too. I would like that too. Okay, so brand new services join the familiar city services, and they have more nuanced and complex mechanics benefiting a more realistic city building game. I love this. I've said this to Dawn and back. CS1 is an incredibly easy game. CS2 being more difficult, I'm down with it. I am down with it. We knew this already, I think, that city services can be restricted to districts. That's great. I love that. And we will get into districts and policies later in this Dev Diary. All right, city services. So, probably the theme of today's discussion, just the one thing that I'm saying over and over and over again, is that when I played CS2 for the first time, and all the times since, I have been I've been playing based on my habits of City Skylines 1. And in City Skylines 1, you just, make all the roads turn green with all the services, and everybody's happy, and the money always balances. And that's why I say that City Skylines 1 is a very easy game. But what we're gonna be reading here is that that's not how that works in CS2. And so I have been finding it actually very difficult to balance the books in CS2. And so much of that has to do with the services, I think, which is a good thing. I love that there's challenge and like nuance to it. And it feels like, your city and my city are gonna be different in how we have to place our services and expand our services and tax or fee our services or whatever you call it. So stoked about that. Oh, goody. All right, I'm gonna use my core to sit upside down for the next little while we go through this. Unlike in the previous game where you wanted to cover the city evenly with different service types, which is what I just mentioned. Services can be costly and provide only minor additional benefits if you just place them throughout the city. That's my notation there. This is the difficulty edition. Let's go. Pretty stoked about that. City services only indirectly affect land value as they answer the needs of citizens and companies in the city, which in turn increases their willingness to pay higher rent in the area, thus increasing their levels and land value. This is, I think I say this somewhere else, but I struggle. I'm not doubting them, and I don't think that they're saying anything incorrect or like whatever, but I struggle to make that work in my brain. Like, how is that different? So, city services directly increase land value in the previous game, right? Easy. So, this sounds like they still affect land value in CS2, but just like the path of coding mechanics it takes for them to affect the land value is different. It's just something that I'm still working my brain around, personally. Yes, very much. And I think specifically, Azwarg, you don't want to blanket the map with green because it costs many dollars to do so. And then you go bankrupt and you die. That's what happens in the city skylines. You die. That's a joke. For legal purposes, that is a joke. All right. Furthermore, not all citizens have the same needs. So okay. So my notation, how do we build for that? Do we try to give all areas all things? Do we change what areas have over time as people age up? Probably the former, as the latter feels unreasonable to achieve. So it's like as people are different ages in the video game, they want different things. And so how do you accommodate that without just like putting everything everywhere? But I think I put these notes in last night and I didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but even as I say this out loud now, I guess it is like, yeah, some areas are going to just be better in schooling availability and less better in healthcare availability, and vice versa. I did play a little bit last night after reading this and tried to kind of keep some of the things that I've learned from this dev diary in mind. And it's really interesting. It's a really wild balance. It's very, very interesting stuff. Assisted living district next to the cemetery. No, dear, hello. Yeah. Joking for legal purposes. All right, so citizens' needs can be inspected from their household's selected info panel, SIP, by hovering over the family's happiness icon. Similarly, companies' needs can be inspected in their SIP, hovering over their efficiency value. I find myself looking at those two info views a lot. I say in my little note here that I found them incredibly helpful. And I think what I meant by that is that I will find them incredibly helpful once I understand how to balance them better. Because if I see someone who doesn't have like the perfect medical coverage, my instinct is to give them the perfect medical coverage, but that costs a lot of money and then I go bankrupt and then I die. So I think they will be incredibly helpful once we have a better kind of habit formed of how to address them. Roads we've already seen them. I think, yeah, my tooltip here is that we already know all this stuff. This is nothing new to us. This is a nice screenshot, looks good. Looks good, bud. There's nothing really in here that we need to focus on, eh? It's just pretty. It's just such a pretty game. All right, electricity. So I've got some really silly notations here. It lists out all the green types of electricity available: wind turbine, solar power plant, geothermal, and hydroelectric. And I'm like, yeah, sustainability, let's go. And then coal power plants and gas power plants, boo. Although because I'm upside down, I think that's me giving it a thumbs up. So I'm a boomer today. And nuclear power plants, poggers. Who wrote this? Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say in the video, isn't it, Azork? There's always the nuclear option. It's funny you say that, Todd. I put a picture in Discord yesterday because I'm having beans and rice for dinner this week. And so I cooked my beans, well, and my rice yesterday, but and the beans look awful. They're visually the most heinous looking beans I've ever made, but they are so incredibly tasty. So yeah, and that is the gas power plant, I guess. Just a pretty city. This is not my city. That's for sure. You can see the power lines over here. Yeah, it just looks cool. And I think this is a good still of the smoke in the city. The smoke looks kind of like different. What is this? What is that? What is that? Borracho beans. I don't know what that is. So probably not. But I want to now. Surface water. Just, you know, this is me explaining for anyone who may not understand, because 2 years ago I wouldn't have understood. Surface water means ocean, river, etc. So that is the same as it was in City Skylines. You can pump it out from those places, from those places. And it's affected by pollution. Groundwater, however, works quite differently in CS2. A windmill. I mean, it's possible, right? Because it would just extend up here and then have the turbine dubers out this way. So the green means that this is cool. So in CS1, you could just place a water tower anywhere and it worked, right? But what they're saying here is that City Skylines 2 has actual groundwater deposits full of fresh water. These reservoirs have a limited refresh rate and are very susceptible to ground pollution, so plan your water supplies accordingly. Very cool. So this one's fun. Yay, more challenge. This is one of the many situations where I've built just from habit, and I've gone and built roads wherever I want them without looking at the resources first, only to realize, oh, I shouldn't have put like industry here because that's actually where my groundwater is. And oh, now I've polluted all of my industry, which is really funny. I don't think I have this noted anywhere else, but when I was like my very first build, so the city that you see in some of the videos called Rectanglo, when I was building that city, I discovered this this game mechanic by accident, I guess, because I thought that I had encountered a bug, but my water kept getting like polluted, but then you could see the pollution go through the city in waves, and so I like deleted one and then moved it, and I fussed with the water a lot, and I just didn't understand that ground pollution. Well, wait, what even happened in that city? I don't know, somehow one of my groundwater deposits got contaminated, and I didn't understand that. I didn't realize that that was a thing that could happen. And then, yeah, I just kept fussing with water, and I couldn't fix it, and I thought it was a bug until I like shut the game down and came back to it a day later, and I was like, oh, this is actually how this works. And anyway, it was very interesting. It was fun. It was fun. Oh, I wonder, Joe. I actually haven't tested if placing trees like ruins farmland. I'm gonna test that. I genuinely don't know the answer to that. I don't think I could tell you if I did, but I also just don't know the answer to that. Really, eh, Todd? You always take it in from the surface water. Interesting. It does in CS1, specifically farmland. The other two, it doesn't work that way. But in CS1, if you place trees down where there's farmland and it becomes a tree resource instead, you can't get that farmland back without mods. Even if you delete the trees, it just goes back to like nothing rather than going back to farmland. But oil and ore, I'm fairly confident you can just place trees over and it's like both resources. It's both both forestry and oil. But yeah, I don't know how that works in CS2. Sewage treatment is a crucial part of city management. So you can treat your sewage in a wastewater treatment plant where it's purified and pumped back into the freshwater network. Very cool. Love that. So we can treat our poop and then drink it. Hooray! Hello, G-Money, welcome in. We're going over the dev diary from today. The pollutants gathered from the treated wastewater become solid waste, which can be hauled to any of the city's garbage management sites. More challenge because more waste. So in order to process your poop, you can either add to your landfill via treating the poop with a wastewater treatment plant, or you can put poop in the ocean. So sorry, fishies. Not very much at all. We're on page 4 of 28. You're good. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff. Which means let's not focus too much on electricity and water because we have 24 bloody pages to go. Heck. And they're going to be in next week's dev diary. I am curious that they're dedicating an entire dev diary to electricity and water. I'm so curious how long that one's gonna be. I would love a short one for a change, but I also would love a long one because I just want to know everything about this game. But yeah, Sir Mage, yeah. You're burning those poops, yeah, because I mean that's a whole thing. Yo, that's it. That's the loop, isn't it? So you take the poop, you treat it in the wastewater treatment plant, and it becomes garbage. But then you take the garbage and you put it in an incinerator and you turn it into electricity. So we're gonna power our cities with poop. Yeah, G-Money. Is that a thing that you can do in the real world? Can you actually use human waste to help with farmland? Like, we can just burn poop. 48 pages for electricity and water. But yeah, this looks really neat, eh? This is a whole like little treatment area, little water area. So this is where we really start seeing how in-depth the services can get in CS2, which I'm excited about. I thought that was the case, Todd. I thought human wasn't good. Yeah, because we keep all the good in our bodies, right? And we excrete the bad. PP equals poop power. Fun. Okay, so additionally, healthcare services provide citizens in the surrounding area with a passive health bonus, while wamblances respond to traffic accidents. So we knew about traffic accidents already, right? So that's just like a further confirmation that a healthcare building has kind of like the two types of service that it applies. One is passive, one is active. I did today, Phil. I did today, baby. Look at my notes are so stupid. Yes, Joe, wholeheartedly. Colossal Order. I don't know who wrote these, to be fair. And I don't know if the same person wrote all of them, but please read what the Joe has written. Because you've done good. You've done good. Oh, interesting, Todd. Interesting. Excuse me. Okay. So, improve your citizens' health with the Health Research Institute. Health Research Institute, anybody? That sounds like a unique type of building. Not saying it's a unique building, but like it sounds like a building that's a little bit more important, right? And I think it's funky fresh. Hey, Renash, hello. And then the hospital on the right looks, oh, I'm putting funky buildings because they just look cool. They're too, this building right here is the thumbnail for this video. If you've made it this far into the video, YouTube, Give a thumbs up in chat because you've made it to the thumbnail. Congratulations. I'm incredibly proud of you. You're doing really well. You're doing really well. Give a thumbs up in the comments. I think I said chat. I meant comments, but chat, you can do it too. I don't understand. I'm the worst at this. All right, let's death care. We've got some death care, you. So, so people can die for different reasons. They're old. They just have very bad health. If they're involved in a traffic accident, they can die. RIP. If they are inside a building when it collapses, which tells me that like that event is simulated, which is crazy to me. Maddie by the Seaside, hello. Ripperoonies. Being abandoned or affected by a natural disaster. Abandoned buildings have consequences, yes. Was it last week that we saw homeless people being mentioned and them staying in abandoned buildings or something? So they seem to have like kind of multiple mechanics around them. Vacant versus abandoned, yeah. But yeah, abandoned or affected by natural disaster. Ah, heck, rip in pieces, in pieces. Ripperoonies. This is beautiful right here. Yes, there is, Azorak. I'm so excited about that. Oh yeah. So if we zoom in, we've got this beautiful cemetery, right? And actually zooming in a whole bunch, like I used to build cemeteries a lot in CS1, in modded CS1, and I would place down like each grave sort of thing. And it was just something that I really enjoyed building. And now that happens automatically, it looks like, right? So this is really, really pretty. So it's like this beautiful cemetery to come and pay respect to the dead, and then a wing backs even just right beside it. So silly. So silly. Oh, Todd, I've left these notes. The notes are from me. So apparently I'm an EVE player. Can we paint cemeteries and just let them fill in? I don't think I can answer that question. Yeah, I play EVE. Is that Everwinter Victory Efforts? That's what that game is called, right? EVE Online. Yeah, but what does the EVE stand for? Or is it just Eve in all capitals? I thought EVE stood for something. It's not an acronym. Understood. I completely misunderstood. Wait, all right, whatever, those words. So, citizen health is positively affected by the availability of resources the household uses and their consumption, as well as the availability of healthcare. Got it. Negative effects on citizen health are different pollution types, previous illnesses and injuries, and any uncollected garbage. Right. I was curious if in CS1, if you have a, like, let's say a residential building that has accumulated garbage and nobody's picking it up, does it have a negative health consequence in CS1? I don't remember. So, man. A sick citizen cannot contribute to their workplace and thus affects the company's efficiency. Therefore, it's important to make sure that citizens are healthy. Hey, employers, do you hear that? Do you understand that when somebody is ill, they cannot do their job to a capacity? So just let them recover? Just saying. Other health or pollution. Interesting. We should take a look at it. All right, now that I'm off my high horse. Cool, Seta. Cool. Thanks, guys. I didn't realize it creates ground pollution. Wild. Yeah, same, G-Money. Absolutely. All right, so every building accumulates garbage as a byproduct of all the stuff happening. Various factors can contribute. Zoning type. So I was curious what folks think will have, like, which zone types will accumulate more garbage. I would think industry accumulates quickest, and then probably commercial, and then probably residential. But like, where would office go in that? Because I always kind of forget that office is separate now. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Oh, this is the RimWorld soundtrack. Funny that you mentioned RimWorld, Todd. But we've, you know what? No, let's go back to SimCity soundtrack. We'll change it afterwards. Oh, that's loud. Imagine Sims unionizing and protesting in front of the mayor's office. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So building level as well as the education level makes sense. Higher level buildings generate less garbage, as do citizens with a higher education level. Got it. I appreciate this being a benefit and a reason to level up buildings and educate Sims, because as we learned in the previous dev diary, leveling up your buildings creates a lot of challenge. So any benefit that they can give us to encourage us to level up the buildings helps counteract the challenge that brings of like getting them to pay rent, basically. Lower rent areas, yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure, Todd. Yep. Excuse me. So, air pollution with the incineration plant downwind. They specifically state the word downwind, and we know that air pollution has been mentioned a bunch. This is a game mechanic that we need to wrap our heads around, my friends. Earlier I mentioned that in my few times building, I've just like gone with my habits from CS1, right? And I just lay out the roads and I just place the services and I just kind of like, you know, build a city. But one thing that I think I am going to have to get more used to doing, and maybe others will be the same, is looking at resources first and looking at like info views first and just how things exist on the map. And so, yeah, air pollution and downwind are going to be part of that. Hello? Yeah, Todd, right? Yeah. 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 Yes, Azork, in CS1, I can appreciate that kind of like way of navigating it for sure. Water treatment plant and farms upwind for the proper smell. PRP, I got a call. Oh, deer making it emo only mode. All right. So you guys react with your emotes to it's not very long. I think it's like 2 minutes, to what we're reading here. So landfills simply store and slowly process the garbage while the incineration plant burns it, turning waste into electricity. Like we said earlier, we're gonna power our cities with poop. The recycling center separates the usable parts from the garbage and turns them into resources that can be used by manufacturing companies to produce goods and products. This is all the same as CS1, from what I understand. But let's like do some zooming in. Ooh, this is like a really high res image. Well, okay, hold on, never mind. But look at the landfill. What a weird thing to be saying out loud, but I spend a lot of time in CS2 zooming in on my landfills. I do. I do. And looking around them. But you can see little hunky boos hanging around and stuff. And yeah, this kind of in particular here, it's hard to see, I guess, without knowing what you're looking at, but it's cool stuff. Sniff! Oh no, Todd. Arnor. Oh, golly. So yeah, that's fun. That's fun. All right, education and research, my friends. So this is all pretty straightforward stuff. Little kids go to elementary school, teens or adults can go work. And teens can go to high school. Adults can either go to college or one of the universities. So noting, you guys can chat again now. Noting that college and university has an or in between it. So it sounds like they're separate, right? And I'm just going to point out the words one of the universities available in the game. Very cool. Very cool. This is really fun. Yeah, Todd, it's so good. When choosing between school and work, citizens calculate which is financially more beneficial for them. So, mood. 5 education levels: elementary, high school, college, university. Why do we think there's 5? Has it said that somewhere? But I just later in the diary got it. Okay, well, we'll look at that. Oh, maybe, yeah, exactly what Todd said. Maybe uneducated is one of them. Maybe they're counting as just like 0. Yeah, that's a point. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I don't know what it's like where everybody else is in the world, but around here, colleges and universities are separate. So like here, you go to college more so for, like, it almost feels like a lesser education around here. Like it's like a trades or you can go to college for like the arts, but like if you're going to go be a doctor or a lawyer, you're not going to college, you're going to university. So yeah, what you guys call a community college or a technical school, that's what we call a college. And then what I say you guys for American folks, what the Americans call maybe a college, but definitely university, is what we call a university here. Yeah. And then higher education, yeah. It's kind of the same here, but our college and universities are definitely separate. Like I recognize that there's the technical definition of university being the multiple colleges, but like I'm not here to be a pedant. The things that you go to school for are different between the two. Okay, apparently I've been smoking a pack a day for a while because my throat is killing me. So anyways, I really like the fact that they choose if they're going to go to school or work, and they apparently have a mechanic in them that is deciding if one or the other is financially more beneficial. So very cool. Very, very cool. I also love this last sentence. Some citizens also simply choose to study or work depending on their inherent interests. What a utopian, amazing thought to be able to just go and study based on what you're interested in. But also that's very cool to be in the game. That's so neat. Fun's in. Good. Also what Azork asked. Yes, I'm curious about that. Are there different inherent interests, or is it just this sim is programmed to be very interested in learning, so then they go learn or whatever? Of course I do, Zin. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Seta, absolutely. But this is gorgeous, right? Does this say what this is? Yeah, this says this is the college. So beautiful. Beautiful. Excuse me. And we've got the chirper, like, that's American football, right? Field over there. Very good, very good. Love to see it. Yes. Oh, right. So it says right there. Uneducated, poorly educated, educated, well-educated, and highly educated. So in this, I would guess that well-educated is college and high-educated is university. So this part's really cool. Citizens can also fail to graduate, at which point they like reevaluate their lives. So they fail university and they're like, you know what? To heck with it. I'm just gonna go work. Or they are like, all right, I'm gonna buckle down. I'm gonna get back to studying, which is really neat. Enjoy. Absolutely, Charlie. Have fun with the Diablo. Guess I'm a janitor now. Yeah. I don't know, Joe. That's a great question. Can they like work for a while and then go back? Does it say that here? It doesn't specifically say that because you would think something would have to trigger them to like reevaluate, right? And I don't know what that would be. If they're already employed and making money, what would trigger them to reassess their should I work or should I educate thing? So I'd be curious. Right. So as a special effect, elementary schools give a well-being bonus for families with children living close to them. This can be used to guide how a certain portion of the population behaves. I thought this sentence was really interesting. They have been saying stuff like this a lot in the Dev Diaries. And even after playing the game, I'm trying to wrap my head around like making use of this mechanic and how you can actually use this to your benefit, to your will, to your whatever. I guess if you have apartment buildings that you don't want families in because a family gets cranky due to small space, like we learned last week, don't build a school there. So you're rather than encouraging families to be there, you're more so attracting like single people. I guess. Player's Arbiter of Fates. You could tax dirty industries to develop high-tech industries. Cool. Yeah. You know what, Zin? I feel like similar manipulation could happen in CS2. For sure. For sure. Having a midlife crisis. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting stuff. This is very pretty. Local elementary school. I originally had written down here, like, what does this look like? Do your elementary schools look like this? I've never seen a school look like this. To me, this looks very, like, I would guess this is not American or Canadian, at least. But then I'm also very, I don't know, like I've traveled a lot, but I'm kind of sheltered. Like I just don't really take in, I don't go around looking at elementary schools. So it looks British. Yeah, you know, I agree with that, Azwarg. It looks, I would believe you if you told me that was a retirement home. For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, same, Todd. Yeah. It's very similar around here. They might not even be brick around here because poor. They might be like concrete or whatever you use when you're not using brick for a very large building. I don't know. But yeah, fire and rescue. So the fire department sends out fire engines to put out building fires as fires can spread quickly, and it's important to sort out traffic jams. Read, it's important to get good. And manage your traffic well. Because if there's an emergency, the fire trucks need to be able to get where they're going. So that's the same as CS1. But I think we have a lot more control over traffic in CS2. So, yeah. Yeah, Zin. That I agree with. Trying to think. I mean, I would guess maybe in Toronto there's taller elementary schools, but certainly not around these parts. It's more so high schools that have 2 floors. So yeah, this is another really pretty screenshot. I don't think there's anything extraordinarily exciting to like point out here. You can see the trees on the roads, which is cool. I wonder if you can, Zin. We get into policies and stuff later. I honestly, reading this dev diary prompted me to go and look at policies in the game. Until reading this, I had never looked at policies. So I genuinely don't know if there's a policy that like restricts traffic to a certain thing or not, but there was in CS1. So, maybe. We've got fire watch towers and a firefighting helicopter depot. Those seem to work the exact same as they did in CS1. Cool. In CS1, it was a natural disasters thing. So this is them, you know, not stripping the game of all its DLC, like all the angry kids are talking boop. Fire and rescue also includes disaster prevention, which is like it was in CS1. If the city has emergency shelters, citizens hurry there and wait out the disaster if it's been detected by this early disaster warning system. The way that this sentence is structured, it makes it sound like it happens automatically. The city that I've been playing for the last little while in CS2, like I've been trying to work with disasters and stuff just to see how they are experienced, but I haven't had anything happen that I haven't been able to learn the game mechanics. I haven't been able to learn the game mechanics well enough, so I genuinely don't know. But this sentence sounds, if the city has emergency shelters, citizens hurry there and wait out the disaster. That sounds like it's automatic, because they're not saying if the city has emergency shelters, you can tell the citizens to go there and wait. I don't know. So I have no idea. I think we can answer that question, Azuark. I want to wait a second, but I think we can answer that question. So bear with me on that. I saw you say it earlier and I made a note of it. Let me get back to you on that. I want to look at last week's feature video. Because I feel like we've already seen that, but I might be wrong. Yeah, Todd. Oh yeah, so I wrote down here, for one, do things look like this in real life? Do these things exist in real life? These early disaster warning systems? I assume they must exist, right? There are scientists out there who monitor earthquakes and like write down their severity and stuff. So obviously that exists. Do they look like this? Like this building looks futuristic / goofy / CS1 cartoony style, or do they actually look like this and I just don't know? The giant ball is a weather radar. Okay, that makes sense. It just looks really funny. Genesis, I hope you're well, buddy. Blah, blah, blah. We know all this already. This building looks, I don't know. I feel like this is very reminiscent of the police building in CS1. It's like a little homage to it, I think. It's really nice. I like it a lot. It doesn't look super realistic to me, but I also don't go around looking at police stations all over the world. So, do you? Cool, Joe. Very cool. Okay, neat. Cool. This is why I keep you guys around, you know? Arrested criminals are put in jail and some criminals are sentenced to serve prison time. I love that it's not everybody. I love that. We stand a fair justice system. Now, I've just made the assumption that the decision is happening fairly, but I'm gonna choose to believe that. All right? Felony versus misdemeanor, true. It can also be that. Right, Zen. Okay, gotcha. You see holding cells in here. Oh, that, like, these thingies? Like that's a little yard or whatever for them to hang out in? Maybe. I don't know, it looks cool. Or do you mean like the windows being super narrow and stuff? The little tiny windows, right. Cool. So after, oh yeah, the fun thing here, oh, excuse me, I just hit puberty. The prisoners are transferred either to a local prison or to an outside connection to serve their sentence. So if you don't have a prison in your city, you can just yeet them away. After serving their time, their criminal status is reset and they return to the city. And my notes are based. Let's give people some second chances. I like that. This sentence, and down here, put criminal citizens to work in a local prison, a little bit less based, but it is what it is. Maybe their work is beneficial to society and not just shovel shit twice. Yeeting is certainly an option for a multitude of... Yes, Azuark, yes. And we're going to read more about that for sure. Wait, what's the license plate thing? Is that just a thing that has happened in America or something? Sorry, I'm fairly ignorant. I try not to read the news. Each building generates crime probability. All right, it's about to get real. All right. Crime probability also affects citizen well-being, which in turn affects their chance of becoming criminals. It's a statement. Take care of your fucking citizens, and then they're not going to go and stab people. Does it actually, Zin? Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I didn't know that. Wild. Wild. Administration. Wait, was there something? No, okay. Wait, what? Oh, that's fine. Well, now I'm curious what people do in Canada in prison, but I also just don't want to know. I think the whole thing's pretty fucking depressing, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah. This is really cool. So, administration includes services such as the Welfare Office, City Hall, and Central Bank. The Welfare Office helps people down on their luck and boosts their well-being if their happiness is below half. Really interesting way of implementing this mechanic. With this and police, and even, oh yeah, this is something to kind of add on to Joe, like just generally thanking the person who wrote these dev diaries. I just wanted to take note that like the way that they addressed this, and earlier they talked about death care preparing their deceased for their final journey. It just all sounds like fairly respectful. I just wanted to note that, like up here, what page is this? I don't want to lose this. Page 11. But up here, when we talk about death care prepares the deceased on their final journey. Like, it's just a respectful way of putting it. I just think that's great. I don't know. It's a touch of detail. Like it's somebody made the effort to be kind on that and not say, you know, clanging a bell, bring out your dead. Right? Sounds very Canadian. I have no idea who wrote these. Like, I'm actually saying that. I know that sounds really cheeky. I sure as shit did not write these. And I don't know who did. The City Hall has citywide effects ranging from lowered loan interest rates and import costs to reduced crime rates and building leveling costs. The central bank, building leveling costs. Sorry, I'm just actually processing that right now because we understood from last week's dev diary that like the way that buildings level up is that Sims use their like leftover cash to level up the building. So this makes them have to have less leftover cash to be able to do that. Cool. The central bank also helps reduce loans and boosts companies' profits by lowering import costs while increasing export profits. Neat. These feel like optional buildings meant to really enhance a city that's in a good spot. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Azork, I know. Yes, Todd. I would like that very much. But yeah, that's cool. These feel, I don't know. I say optional, and I think I maybe only say that because they like weren't implemented in CS1, at least not to this capacity. So yeah, they just feel like an additional optional thing to give us more levels of utopia we can choose to build or not build. Yeah. I don't know if I've even looked at City Hall. After reading this dev diary, I did go and put down a welfare office in my city. Yeah, Azwark, I would say that statement feels pretty on for sure. Yeah, as in, yeah. And that's the welfare office, apparently. A little fountain in there. Neat. All right, transportation. So we know a lot about transportation already, so I'm not going to focus on this too much. But each land transportation type features its own depot from which they send out their fleet of vehicles. I don't know. I feel like we already knew that, but just in case. So every type of land transport, you have a depot that you put down as well, from which they send out their vehicles. That's the staff pool. Oh no. Yeah, fair, Todd, fair. Airports are the only transportation building that can be upgraded to also include a cargo terminal, as other transportation types have a separate passenger cargo stations and terminals. So this just sounds like they are confirming that your airport, like you don't have just a cargo airport, you have a airport that has cargo on it. Whereas it's different for harbors. Meh. Nothing else really exciting there. Pretty. That's my information for this picture. It's pretty. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. Look at the little details on the trees. Little birch trees, I guess. Right? Yeah, Todd. Yeah. Depot. Yeah, it's like Home Depot. However, in City Skylines II, parks, plazas, tourist attractions, and landmarks, bracket, or any other city service building don't directly increase land value. Instead, they answer to the citizens' various needs, and if their needs are met, citizens find the area where they live appealing, and this increases the land value as the citizens are willing to continue living there and pay higher rent. So this is me again trying to like kind of wrap my head properly around these sorts of things. This kind of feels like these are the exact same thing. Like with parks affecting in CS1, they affect land value quite directly, but in CS2, they answer to the citizens' needs, and then if the citizens' needs are met, that ups the land value. But I feel like they're making the distinction for a reason. I need to put a lot more hours into the game to really get the feel of this. I guess the argument could be made that if you put down a park in a place where citizens don't have the need for that park, the land value won't go up. Whereas in CS1, it would have. I guess. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, JJ. But doesn't it work? What do we think? Like, I mean, if you put down a bunch of parks in CS2, you're answering a bunch of various needs, and then the Sims will want to live there and the land value will go up, is how I read the second part of this. So, but I guess it's just like, it's not that easy, I think is the way to phrase it. But it's conditional and there's a limit. Yeah. 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 And even in CS1, you could only up your land value so much. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It does all feel like it's one like very large puzzle and there's a million different little pieces to it. Holly? Hello. Good day. How are you? Were you not supposed to be streaming 37 minutes ago, or did I read wrong? Holly, we're going over the City Skylines II dev diary, which I'm sure is like totally your bag, baby. So, yeah, Renash, like how when we do our speed runs, we just plunk the Paradox Plaza a million times because it is small and it's got like the best whatever. So yeah, you're right. Oh, good. I hope that you sleep good. Yes, please rest. Please do all the rest. Okay, let's continue reading because as Orc said, we're not even halfway there. This is crazy. So parks and recreation buildings offer citizens options where they can spend their free time fulfilling their leisure demands, which affects their well-being. Good. This need for leisure can be fulfilled in many different ways. So going and shopping in commercial, enjoying entertainment and meals in restaurants, and visiting the various parks, plazas, sports venues, tourist attractions, and landmarks. So this sentence here states that there are all these types of leisure that exist, but does it state that Sims require those types, like have different preferences for leisure? Like, you know how in RimWorld, you have your pawn, and some RimWorld pawns want to play chess, but other RimWorld pawns want to look at art, but other RimWorld pawns want to meditate. And for those pawns, they're all gaining recreation boost from those three different things. But the meditate guy isn't going to play chess because he doesn't want to play chess. So does our shopping commercial guy, can he also just go visit a park? And I don't know the answer to that question. So you give them all horseshoe and I leave it at that. That is the correct way of playing RimWorld. Yes. Seta, I absolutely and wholeheartedly think that CS2 speedruns are going to be much more, I think, difficult, yes, because I think CS2 is just a not very difficult game, but I think it's a more difficult game. And I think they're going to be way more interesting because of all of the different ways that you can navigate through the game. So I want pasta. Chicken and bacon chili. Nice. Gunton student this week are eating a chicken and veggie stir fry type thing that I made them. Ooh, Amy, that's exciting. Yeah, I don't know, Todd. I don't know because like there is a whole bunch being simulated in this game. There is a whole dev diary on Citizens, isn't there? I think it's one of the much later ones, so we'll probably learn then. So yeah, all right. So weather and time of year have an effect on citizens' choices to fulfill their leisure demands. That's really cool. Warm and sunny weather encourages them to spend time outdoors in the parks, while rainy or cold weather makes them choose indoor activities like shopping. So, my little notation, we need to provide both options. Otherwise, bad weather equals sad news bears. It just all came around to me, gang. It just clicked. Because I was asking earlier, basically, like, why can't I just place a bunch of parks and then it'll kind of inadvertently up the land value? And that's why, like, so we don't know if Sims have their own needs. We don't know that yet. But even something as basic as weather, if we only have parks, the people's well-being is going to be in the toilet during the winter, because we know that seasons are a thing, or during rainy weather. So if their well-being is low during that portion of the time, then that'll lower the land value during that portion of the time. The land value won't go up. Yes, it just clicked for me. So I'm sorry that I'm slower to grasp it, but maybe some folks out there are as well. And maybe that helps you click for it as well, right? Citizens are week 10. Thanks, Azork. Yum. All right. So not yum on Citizens being week 10. Sorry, Citizens being on Leanne and Zin's conversation. Or wait, no, yum being Leanne and Zin's conversation. I'm gonna take a deep breath, all right? Let me just chill for a second. I'm nervous. It's my first stream. I'm nervous. I think that's mentioned somewhere, Azor, Red Mage, whoever you are. Isn't there somewhere where it says that they'll have more money to be spending somewhere? Warner, I hear you. Oh, right here. So this is talking about pathways being free. But so that's in reference to them having money for traveling. So maybe that is also maybe that's also a factor in their parkification going. Zen, we're recording for YouTube, so I will later. I'm sorry. Sorry. All right, so Parks and Rec also affects the attractiveness, which affects the tourists coming in, of course. Warner, I hope you are well. Tourists stay at local hotels. How do we get these local hotels to happen? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? And make decisions about visiting the city attractions based on their distance from the hotel and the location's attractiveness value. Cool. I love that. That's really neat. So that is a whole reason, like that just, I don't know, it just gives us more things to control. There's so many things we can do in this darn city. Tourists might choose a more attractive park or a landmark further away if the net result is faster leisure demand fulfilled. Leisure, 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 leisure. Yeah, like in general, transport from the like airport or the bus or the whatever, however you're getting your citizens in from the outside, transport from there to hotels and transport from hotels to sightseeing locations and all of that sort of thing, right? I love that there are more complicated decisions being made within the game. And what I mean by that is we were talking about in one of the earlier dev diaries, the calculations that are made, how people decide how they're getting from point A to point B. Like some of it is speed, some of it is comfort, some of it is money. And this sounds like another one of those decisions that the Sims are making that has multiple factors in it, which is rad. This is really cool. We have the Avatar Aang statue. This is obviously Avatar Island. I love that. Very cool. But yeah, just this looks like New Dollarton to me. So we've seen that city a lot. It's very, very nice. Communications is a new service category. We got new stuff. We love new stuff. So post services. If people are unable to send postcards, love letters, and opinionated letters to the editor, that decreases their well-being. My response to this is okay, boomer. But for real, this is actually quite hilarious. Person who wrote this, thank you for having a personality and injecting some of it into the information that you are relaying to us plebs. I appreciate that. I genuinely do. Similarly, companies and services benefit from the functioning post service with an increase in efficiency. And there is a lot of, like, I feel like efficiency has been mentioned a lot in this dev diary. So it feels like it's going to be a mechanic that is important. You thought of this as a redesign of the natural disasters communication. Ooh, point heard, JJ. I would argue a redesign of that and maybe a combo of that with CS1's mail system. Because CS1 has mail post, but like nobody uses it because it's a hassle and it just clogs up traffic and stuff, right? So yeah, I could vibe with this being it, combining that with the natural disasters communicative stuff for sure. For sure. Okay, without the local post sorting facility, all mail sent from the city is transported to outside connections, as long distance mail and only mail coming from outside connections can be delivered within the city. So the downside to this, is it just the time that it takes? Is it the traffic? Because it sounds like it's probably not worth having the cost of the post sorting facility at first, because it's mentioned earlier in the dev diary that services are expensive. So it'll be interesting to see the balance of when you place what. Yes, red mage. Or can that be a job that's given to like kids? Can we employ children? Is that a thing that happens in the world still? You still give your kid goes and gets a mail route and like is on their bicycle and chucks newspaper at doors, or is that done? Is that gone and done? Okay, I know that you're calling it child labor, but that's like a thing that happens. I assume the parents help with it, but let's send them to the coal factory. Gosh darn it. Gosh golly. Telecommunications is all about providing citizens and companies with a high-speed internet connection. Yes, please, I need to stream. And this is really cool. Each like thing uses a small portion of the available network bandwidth, and each telecom building has a bandwidth capacity and range describing how many citizens it can service and how far its service reaches. I love this. I love that this is a new game mechanic, and especially that it's fairly straightforward. Like, it's like, here's a resource, bandwidth, and here's how many people it can service, and you need to deal with that. And I love that they aren't just introducing complicated things or making things more complicated than they previously were. They're also adding entry-level mechanics, which is great. I really love that. I really, really love that. Nice, Debug. Global communications. Increase well-being as it provides them with recreation. The amount of well-being a citizen gains from using the internet depends on the strength of the network signal. Nuts. Bonkers. We're also getting very in-depth and like too real. I think I say somewhere. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, I thought that I said somewhere that like when I go to my mom's place, she's out in the boons and I can't get any bloody cell reception there. And so I can't just go play on my phone. Sad. Commercial companies benefit from telecommunications by increasing their sales as citizens are able to shop online, while industrial companies get better deals from resource providers as they are able to communicate better and have a wider reach. So the TLDR of this is that telecommunications does not only benefit your citizens on a like civilian level, it also helps your folks with it also helps your commercial zoning people and your industry zoning people. Great. Love that. Love that for you. And then we've got a server farm, rad, and the telecom tower. Very cool. Landscaping? Poggers! Big pog for landscaping. Can I feel like such an imposter. Can we get some pogs in chat for landscaping? I never thought I would say those words out loud. So you've got everything that you're familiar with from CS1. Phil. Yes, trees. So that's all very familiar to us, and that's what these are. Okay. And I will say from experience, using these 4 tools feels like home. If you were able to wrap your head around the landscaping tools in CS1, you will have no struggle with CS2. It's great. It's easy. So landscaping also includes options to plant trees, which have a life cycle in City Skylines II, where they grow older and bigger as time goes on. Hello, I love this. Placing new trees on the map plants saplings that eventually grow into mature trees. Excellent. Similarly, if a forest fire destroys a part of a forest, it will take time for new trees to grow. So this whole tree having a life cycle thing, yes, as Azarok is saying, it's yet another thing that's being simulated. But also it's another thing that I feel like I've said in previous discussions of this, like you are, you know, you're not just placing a city, painting a city, and like stepping back and like, cool, I'm done. It feels like a lot of the things that they are introducing are encouraging us to stick with a city and like actually watch it through its life cycle and participate in its life cycle. And it's so cool. I love it. I'm so excited to boot it. So excited to boot it. Yeah, what Remage said. I don't think there's anything really in this. There is still 129 tiles to purchase. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Excuse me, my voice is going, gang. Okay, page 16 of 28. Oh my goodness. Terraform the landscape or plant trees from the landscaping menu. Okay, oh yeah, I had more to say here. Wait, that's it? That's all we're getting for landscaping in exclamations? Gang, there's more to say here, but I can't. The safe for work option, meaning the things that I can say, are that I love many, many things about landscaping in CS2. I'm a very happy landscaping boy. Landscaping is great. Landscaping is great. Yeah, oogs. Maybe. Like it feels like that's the case. Also, I hope that you are well. It is lovely to see you, but it absolutely feels like that's the case, Oogly. Okay, so pathways. We know how they exist, and they're a free part of public transit, and they're the citizens don't have to spend money elsewhere. So it seems like how corporate. Or wait, so sorry, they're free. So that the Sims can spend more money elsewhere. Yes, that's the part that I'm calling corporate. But also it just points out that the Sims have like a wallet, I guess. I'm not like, it sounds like they have an amount of money that they can spend. Like in Roller Coaster Tycoon, your Sim entered your park with $30, and once they spent that, they're done. So I wonder if that amount refills as they get a job. Does it not refill if they're students? It must, right? Like you would think it does. Holly, you're such a goober. Get out. Oh no. Oogs. Oh my god. 41 is not a pleasant experience. Please drink much water. Big cold hugs. Yes, they added ATMs, didn't they, Todd? Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, service upgrades. So this is the part of the game that's like super new to us. In City Skylines II, each city service building, with a few exceptions, is upgradable, extending its operations to service more citizens and answer different needs of the citizens. I'm gonna grammatically geek out for a hot second. I just want to point out that the person who wrote this has used the word "it's" and has had to place many apostrophes. Like it has had to put a possessive at the end of a plural often. And they've done so correctly. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you for correctly using your apostrophes. There is going to be an ad that's going to start. So let's pause for a second. I'm going to pause. YouTube, as we're done, we're getting back into it. So we are talking about now the modularity of the City Skyline services. So extending its operation to service more citizens and answer more needs. I'm picturing like the bat symbol being put into the sky, but maybe like the CS2 hexagon symbol doober being put into the sky here. For sure. For sure. So, what it's telling us here is that there are different ways that these like extensions to a service building can help that service building. I think the best example that it gives is this elementary school one. So you can place an extension wing to an elementary school, which just straight up increases the student capacity. So that's way number one that you can help an elementary school is you can just give it more student capacity with a wing. Or if you don't need more capacity, but instead you want people to be healthy and well, you can choose to instead and or give it a clinic, a children's clinic or playground, improving their health and well-being. So it's just told you that there are 3 different extensions you can add on to an elementary school, which is 3 different ways of making it do more good stuff. Yeah, what Warner said. It's true. It's very true. Ooh, pickles. We get into that. We answer that question in just a sec for sure. For sure. Also, just to give an additional example, a power plant can have additional turbines built, increasing the electricity output, which is like the equivalent of just increasing the straight up capacity. Or an exhaust filter can be put to decrease the amount of air pollution or additional storage space for storing fuel. So again, 3 different ways that you can help your power plant, which I think is really interesting. More stacks on my coal plant. Roll, coal, roll. Oogs, I find in CS1 I always have like capacity struggles, I guess, with elementary schools. And I'm always having to place more or whatever. So it may not always be beneficial to build all upgrades for a building, but instead to consider the needs of the city and its citizens. Is the exhaust filter necessary for the power plant, which is already downwind from the city? There's that downwind word again. And is the air pollution spreads away from the residential areas? Maybe not. But if the power plant is located near the city center and was built in the early days of the city, the exhaust filter might be exactly what it needs. It can continue to operate closer to the city without causing too much harm with its air pollution. Wait, you can't build another sun? What? So what did I put here? What a cool way of giving us options. We can destroy and rebuild as the city grows, like we probably would have with CS1. Oh, sorry, Aswarg. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yep. Pick me up what you're putting down. Sorry, it's my first stream. I'm nervous. So in CS1, if we're kind of like navigating the growth of a city, it's quite often that we'll just destroy stuff and put it elsewhere, right? But in CS2, it sounds like we have options to not do that. We can kind of like let the city expand naturally, and it's viable to make adjustments to buildings that already exist. And I think that's really neat. I really like that. Cool. Great. Delightful. Yeah, for sure, magician. Yeah, let's go. Okay. So this is, who was asking about the size of the modularity stuff? This is where we get into that. This answers that question. So there are 3 types of additions you can put onto a service. Operational upgrades add functional and statistical changes to the building without changing its looks. So a bandwidth increase for the radio mast, exhaust filters in a coal power plant. So there are things that you put onto that you make happen in the service building, but there's no visual change. And it just changes something functional or statistical about that building. So this one would not require any sort of space expansion, whatever, right? Extensions are visible upgrades connected directly to the main building, usually increasing the building's capacity for vehicles, output range, or the number of citizens being serviced. So this is hearkening to the extra wing for the elementary school, right? These extensions have a fixed position on the building lot. So fixed position meaning that they're always going to go there. and they fit inside the existing lot size. So when you place down your elementary school, the amount of land that it takes up is that amount of land. And putting this type of extension onto it does not change that amount of land that it takes up. Good. But then, yeah, sub-buildings are separate buildings attached to the service building's existing lot. So this is also an answer to that question. Sub-buildings naturally require additional space to be built. So it is important to take into consideration the placement of the service building and make sure that there is enough free space around them for those potential sub-buildings to be added in the future. Listen. I see what you're doing, Aswarg. I see what you're doing. I don't know if I can answer that question. It doesn't say it here, does it? Sub-buildings naturally require additional space. Yeah, I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question. Sorry, Aswarg. I'm so sorry. No. That's not what that suggests at all, Oogly. Sorry to like just be a total meanie pants to you. But they say right there, so it's important to take into consideration the placement of the service building and make sure that there's enough free space around them. So that's the important sentence there, is make sure there's enough free space around them for those potential sub-buildings that you may want to add in the future. I learned this the hard way a few times. Hello to my poor memory. So like I placed down service building A, and then I wanted to add, and so like in CS1, you just place a bunch of service buildings kind of back to back to back, and then you build around them really tight, right? And so then I was like, oh, I want to put this sub building on it. Oh, but it can't fit. Great. And so I had to rearrange. And then I did that probably 3 more times. Which brings back to me saying quite a bit earlier that like alongside of wanting to look at your city's resources and info views and stuff before you start building, you might also want to look into, before you start building around elementary school, for example, you might want to look into what sort of space the sub buildings take up, and if you are going to want to build them, and where you might need to build around, kind of thing. So, important stuff. Important stuff. Yeah. You do like not having to build a whole new building for each search and recovery. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Oogs. I am the worst. Yeah, I'm the worst. Carry on. You're doing a great job. You guys are doing great. You're fantastic. I don't care what your moms say about you. I think you guys are doing well. All right, service coverage. In City Skylines 2, services have both a passive coverage effect and a simulated effect. We kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. As an example, managing the city's crime rate isn't about placing a police station on every street corner, a la City Skylines 1. Instead, the police station's presence decreases the accumulation of crime in its neighborhood as its passive coverage effect, while the patrolling police vehicles extend that reach to all over the city as the simulated effect. Got it. So the police station simply existing decreases accumulation of crime around it in its neighborhood passively, and then the police vehicles actually going out and doing their thing is its like active effect. They're calling a simulated effect an active effect. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. There's so much here. This is a huge dev diary. This is giant. Can we have like a 4-page dev diary next week, please? Man, oh, man. Hello, Yed. How are you, buddy? Welcome in. We're talking City Skylines 2. I heard it's your favorite thing. You know, Azork, same. Yeah, same. I think it's going to be important stuff to know, but it is so much info. But I'm glad that we have it, and we're going to get through it together just once, and then we're going to remember it perfectly, and we're never going to have to do it ever again. Right? Yed, I'm gosh, golly darn, boy howdy, I'm good, brother. Life is good, man. Life is good. So these are all the types of passive benefits that these services include. Healthcare just gives a passive health bonus to their surroundings. Education, elementary schools give a passive well-being bonus for families with children. Fire departments decrease the fire hazard around them. Police decreases crime accumulation around them. Parks and recreation add a well-being bonus, and welfare adds a well-being bonus for happiness low people. Sounds good. Sounds good. Todd, fair. Is there anything like this for those two games? Like, does this sort of thing happen for other games that are coming out? I guess Life by You, I've seen a little bit of it. All right. There's 3 factors. Range is the maximum distance in meters along roads where the service building still provides its passive service coverage effect. So that's pretty simple to describe. This is the police building. This area around it is its range in roads, or like this area around it is its range in roads where the crime accumulation is benefited. So less in this case. Yeah. It's how far the pizza guy will drive, for sure. Capacity is a rough estimate of how many people the city service building's passive effect reaches as it travels on those roads. However, the reach of the effect can vary greatly depending on how many people live in its vicinity. This stuff's crazy. If there are only low density housing, the reach can be far. But if the area is densely populated with medium or high density housing, the reach can be quite short as it's used up faster, spreading through the apartment buildings. So this is like the number of pizzas the guy has. So sure, the guy is able to drive 100 meters, but if he only has 50 pizzas and there's 75 people living in that first meter, he's not going any further than that. They should make the range of the building correspond to how far the Trebuchet and the Rouge can launch a service team. Yes. Yed, I, in my extraordinarily close relationship, will pass that information on. I hate myself. So this one, what have I written here? This is really cool to see in effect, and it means it can change over time, which is another thing. As your city grows, these things change. So if you started an area and you only zoned low density in that area, but then, you know, you found a little spot, like, so you've got just your low density sprawl, and then your police building has this awesome capacity on it, right? And it just goes forever. But then you just put a giant high density skyscraper of like apartments. All of a sudden that capacity reaches that skyscraper, and the capacity is used up, and it goes, and all of those pieces are eaten. So the decisions that you make over time in your city have effects, and it's really cool to watch it happen in action. I love it. It's so neat. Magnitude, but my pizzas. Magnitude is the maximum effect gained from the passive service coverage. So it's at full effect within most of its range, but the effect fades out quickly at its edge. So the example they give is at the edge of a telecom tower's range, you're gonna have poor reception. Whereas at the center of it, you're gonna have a full, what do people get nowadays? 5 bars? I have no idea. How many bars do I have? I have, oh, that's my, oh, I can't see it. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 out of 5 bars. So this is if you're happy with the delivery speed of the pizza. Yeah, or or it's how delicious the pizza is. It's how hot the pizza is. I challenge you, Azuark, to have it be it's how hot the pizza is, because at the beginning, the pizza is gonna, like, in the center of it, it's gonna be hot and delicious. My nickname in high school. But then as it gets further away, it's gonna be cold and less tasty, less satisfying. Yeah. Yeah, I like that little pizza analogy, if you will. Listen to YouTube 30 minutes or it's free. Okay, so we have service efficiency. Efficiency affects the building's capacity, processing speed, or output. That's pretty straightforward. Once you see that like stat existing in the game, super easy to process. So here are all of the service type things, and here is what their efficiency affects for them. We'll just go through it. Roads, the efficiency affects the number of available road maintenance vehicles. Electricity, it affects the electricity output level. It affects the water output level and sewage processing speed. For healthcare and death care, it affects the treatment bonus, how quickly they process the dead, and the number of available ambulances and hearses. So that makes sense. For garbage, it affects the processing speed and the number of available trucks. Education and research, it affects their graduation bonus. Neat. Fire and rescue is the number of available engines. Same thing with police, it's the number of cars. Transportation is the number of available vehicles, fine. Yeah, Todd, also very interesting. Throughput and vehicle count, yeah. Parks and Rec is the attractiveness value, the number of available park maintenance vehicles, and communication is the number of available post vehicles, the range, and its capacity. So for anyone that has a vehicle, it affects the number of vehicles, and then it also basically affects how well the rest of it works. Makes sense. This stuff, I feel, is all sort of just, I'm going to say, quote, kind of common sense, kind of logical. If the Sims are happy, the efficiency is good. If the building has the supplies it needs, the efficiency is good. If the Sims are educated correctly, the efficiency is good. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Happy employees of the right education levels increase the efficiency, but make sure your services don't run out of resources. Yes. So here is the info view of a hospital. Its efficiency is only 98%. It has not its full capacity of employees. It looks like it maybe was just recently placed down. It has 0 patients. You can see here the operating districts thing being in use, even though they haven't actually used it, but that's where you would see it, it looks like. And they have very few pharmaceuticals stored. So that could also be affecting its efficiency. You can, Todd. Yeah, you can assign services to districts. And you can do both, which is really cool. So like I can have this police station only work in this district. I can have this fire station work in this district and another district. And then I can have this hospital work for the whole city. It's really cool. Really, really cool. Nothing else really super exciting about this screenshot. There's a helicopter there, but you can see here it says medical helicopter dispatch. So, all right. Some service buildings use fuel or resources to function. Got that. If the building runs out of their resource, its efficiency decreases. And as a result, the treatment bonus added to the citizen's recovery decreases. So they're talking about hospitals here. I like that they're adding another piece to this giant puzzle. I like how it works. If a building runs out of resources, it doesn't just like shut down completely and people are euchred. It just doesn't do its job as well as it can. So like, you know, hospitals, if they can't get the employees that they need or the resources that they need. Ontario, they can't work effectively. Ontario, anybody? Any Ontarians in chat? I'm making a lot of like political statements today, but you know. All right, service fees. This is cool. So some services collect fees from the citizens. What are we paying taxes for then, Alex? I don't know who Alex is. But yeah, I kind of feel that way. Why are we paying taxes if we then also have to pay a fee? Like, I pay taxes so that my garbage is picked up. I pay taxes so that I can go to the hospital and not have to pay for it. Same thing if my house is on fire. I don't have to pay for that because I pay taxes. Yeah, right? Right? Electricity and water fees are paid by citizens and companies alike, and the fees can be adjusted in the economy panel. Now, hold on a second. Okay. Okay. Hi, Imperial. How are you? Well, welcome. Sorry. Using these fees on their own or in addition to district policies, you can encourage citizens to conserve electricity, decreasing the demand in the city. Well, we're going to see that, magician. There are so many ways to manipulate money and demand and services and everything in this game. You can do so much. It's so cool. It's so cool. To answer magician's question, this kind of looks like it answers it, right? So we're looking at water here. So here's all the doobers, and we're looking at water. So we've got the budget, which you could say, you could assume it's similar to how the budget works in CS1. And then outside of the budget, we have the service fee. But then also it looks like outside of the service fee, we have taxes. So it does look like those three things are separate. Yeah. Yeah. Adjust both the service budget and related fees in the economy panel. Yeah, I'm not throwing any shade, but like that is a lot of red here. That is $2.5 million spent on healthcare and death care. Wild. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch. Blah, 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 blah. Fees. Fees. Yeah, interesting. And you know what, Oogs, this is probably genuinely just an example of me showing, like, displaying my ignorance. Because, you know, I've just said how it works for me, right? I pay taxes and then I get these services. And when I'm making use of the services, I don't pay a fee. But that's not how it works everywhere. And as I come to think about it, there are some times where I pay fees. Like when I go and bring extra garbage to the dump. Like if I'm gonna bring an old dead couch there or something, I have to pay for that. So I guess you could call that a fee. When I go to the hospital, I have to pay for parking. So that's a fee. I guess I pay for my own fire alarms. Can't really think of anything fire or police related. Oh, police. If I get pulled over by the coppers and I have to pay a ticket, that's a fee. Yeah, ignorance not in a like with a negative connotation, but just ignorance in the way of like, I don't know this kind of thing. Yeah, service trade. This is also very exciting to me. We have 5 more pages, my friend. Friend, whatever. Services can be imported from or exported to neighboring cities through outside connections and apply to most services. Way cool. Very cool stuff. I like that. Yeah, for sure, Todd. Yeah. Azark, it's all good, buddy. I feel like this was a great way for them to make the world feel larger without having multiplayer forced or online forced or all of those little mistakes that SimCity made. So seeing in a panel somewhere importing and exporting these services makes it feel like there is a town nearby, but I'm not being required to play online or play multiplayer or whatever the heck SimCity did. Hello, Esbin. And I think that was really smart. However, I do wish that using our own city as the neighboring city was an option. That would be great. Option being the operative word there, for sure. For sure. Yes. Yeah, as long as it was optional magician, I think it would be really fun. But if it were ever forced, I think it would drive a large portion of the population away. Electricity, water, and sewage services can all be imported and exported. Electricity is transferred through a transformer station. I know that people wanted that, right? You can find power lines running through the map, making it possible to connect to your neighbors when you are first starting out. So you can do it right away, which is rad. Okay, here's my note. I don't know. I marked this pink because, I wish it was available from the start, so I'll read it to you guys in a sec. Okay, no, let's read it first. So, to import or export both water and sewage, you will need to grow your city enough to reach the edges of the map, where you can create pipe outside connections. So you can't import or export water stuff until you've purchased the tiles getting out to the edge of the map. So at first I was like, well, I don't like that because I want to be able to do it immediately. But as I thought about it, I was typing my note in kind of real time here. As I thought about it, maybe it's good to have it be a later requirement so that it adds to part of the challenge, adds to part of the puzzle. I don't think I can make a concise decision on whether or not I like that until I've played the game a whole bunch more. Excess output is always sold, if possible, while keeping enough for the city's own needs. And if the usage increases, less is sold to outside connections. So this is saying that the selling of these services happens automatically. And my note says that it has been implemented really well from experience. So I have felt like I haven't needed to micromanage or understand that or do a lot with that to make it happen. Magician. And here we can see the amount of electricity currently being imported or exported. So that's this one. So this city is exporting 101 megawatts of electricity. Yeah, I like this too. If the city does not have any medical facilities, citizens travel to outside connections to get treated. If they are too sick or injured to travel, a wambulance is sent from an outside connection to pick them up. Once they're treated, they travel back to the city. Similarly, if the city lacks proper death care facilities, hearses arrive from the outside connections to pick them up. Police and fire services can be imported, although their response times are slow as they arrive at crime scenes and emergencies from outside connections. Also, the imported services lack the passive service coverage effects from their respective service buildings, which can otherwise decrease crime and fire hazards, respectively. And my note on that whole paragraph is excellent balance implementation. So, yes, you can import these services from other cities, meaning you can choose to not have your own fire station for a while, but you're not going to get the passive benefit of the fire station, and it's just naturally going to take longer if a fire does happen for a guy to go and fight the fire. Got it. Now, education exporting and importing is interesting. Traveling outside of the city for education may also encourage the sim to actually leave the city, which is basically a way of saying if you don't have schools in your city, people are bumping out of there. I have experienced this. I don't think I understood that this is what I was experiencing, but I think I've experienced this. Likewise, your city can export education and attract people to come in. Yeah, cool. Education attracts people. Who'da thunk it? I was really sassy last night, apparently. Apparently, I was just done. All right, so now we are into districts and policies. Hovering over the happiness for the district will show you all of the benefits and drawbacks of the area, giving you an idea of how you can improve that part of the city. So I really need to start using districts because I would love to have at a glance what I need to do in that area. And I haven't used districts a whole bunch. After reading this last night, I went and I drew districts in my city to see if it is what it says it is, and it felt very natural. With the district tool, you can define an area by placing corner nodes. So somebody at one point asked, this was like a while ago, if drawing districts was the same with like the brush, and this states that it does not. But don't worry, I tested it, and you can still create visually pleasing districts. Like, you know, some of us really enjoy having our districts like follow the roads really tightly or that sort of thing. You are still able to have things look tidy and neat. So don't worry if that's something that's important to you. Oh, it shows it here. This is yes, this is someone adjusting a district. So that's the line of the district there. Neat. City services can be assigned to one or more districts, limiting their services to only those areas of the city. That's awesome. We already knew that that was a thing, but I'm very happy that it's a thing. It is important to note that even though a service building is assigned to multiple districts, its passive service coverage effect still only applies to its neighborhood. So they're using the word neighborhood and they just mean like the physical area around it, I assume. And so if you've got like fire hall here, and it's covering these two districts that you've drawn, its passive effect is still going to just be this neighborhood. I love that we're being offered more ability to micromanage with this, but we also don't have to micromanage with this. Because I haven't been in the amount of time that I've played CS2, I've never assigned a service to a district because I haven't felt like the need to, and I'm still in the learning stage and just kind of trying to see what I can do with it, rather than like having the confidence of saying, you know what, fire trucks, you can only go here. So I like that those are two options. Let's see. For example, you can limit heavy traffic. Yes, someone mentioned earlier that they were asking about, can you do a policy to ban trucks or whatever? And that's what this sounds like. For example, you can limit heavy traffic in a district to decrease traffic-based noise, which was a thing in CS1, and it appears to still be a thing in CS2, and air pollution. Oh yeah, traffic-based air pollution is how I'm reading that. So like the exhaust of cars? Oh, prioritize certain roads to be freight only. Ooh. I mean, maybe there is the opposite policy. Or maybe you could use this policy around certain roads. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, here are the policies. Well, not all of them, I would guess, but here are many. So you can ban combustion engines. You can do energy consumption awareness, a gated community, heavy traffic ban, recycling, roadside parking fee, and speed bumps. Yeah, Zen, yeah. So can you tell the traffic specifically to go somewhere else? I think at the least, knowing that this exists, I would think you can do it kind of in a roundabout way. Hello, Aurora. Hello, good day. So some policies have a cost or negative consequence linked to them, while others are more neutral. And I love that not everything is a monkey's paw. Like, I love that, like, not everything has a positive and a negative. Because I found with a lot of the CS1 policies, the ones that had kind of a stronger negative to them, I just wouldn't use them. Whereas this sounds like some of them are more neutral, and therefore I'm probably more likely to actually try to invest the time into learning how to use them, sort of thing. So cool. Page 28 of 28. We're at the end. YouTube, if you've made it this far, boy howdy, please leave. This is an hour and 50 minutes into the video. YouTube, I love the ever living heck out of you. If you've made it this far, leave a comment. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you. Subscribe to this channel, but don't leave yet because there's still this, but subscribe, but don't leave yet. City policies apply to your entire city and are found in the city information panel. Oh, let's look at these ones, are the city ones. So we have advanced pollution management, city promotion. I wonder what that is. I guess that's just like attracting tourists. High-speed highways, it's a little race car, I think. Pre-release programs and taxi minimum fare. Oh, interesting, cool. Oh, look at this. I think that's what this is. Yeah. So I've written down here that we've got a based policy happening. Because when we click on pre-release programs, prisoners are enrolled in educational programs before they're released from prison. This helps integrate back into society and reduce the likelihood of committing crimes again. Love that. That's what that should be. I love that. Here we are. City Skylines II includes 7 different district policies and 5 city policies. Reading this, my gut reaction was like that feels like that's very few. But then, you know, I'm typing in real time again, the mix of some being district specific and some being city specific helps for sure. I also didn't go back and look at how many policies there were for CS1, but yeah, it just feels like very few. So I feel like they've really kind of held back from policies going into the sequel, and I wonder if that's because so few people use them in the original. I don't know. I also don't know like what a real world example of a policy is. Maybe it's more of a realism thing. I mean, recycling is like a policy, like a encouraging recycling is a thing that happens around here. Encouraging green waste. Meaning we will pick up your green waste on certain days or whatever, and so we're limiting your garbage kind of thing in an effort to get you to do more green waste. I guess that could be considered a policy. But yeah, that's that. And that is the Developer Diary. All 28 pages of it. It's so many. That's been really fun. I thank you for... Oh yeah, hey, but still don't go anywhere, YouTube, because there's still the video. Gang, I did not prepare for the video at all. So we're gonna watch it together. I don't know about SimCity. I have no idea. No idea. If we go here, let's watch a video together. Only 28, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're gonna play this on 0.75 speed again. And oh, I just want to make sure that you can hear this. I think you can. So if I go like this, yes, you guys can hear it. So let's watch this together. I don't think there's a lot in here. Uh-huh. I'm gonna replay this. It took me a long time to I mean, a little bit for the memes, but also like to learn where this all came from, right? Pretty happy. I hope you're good, buddy. This, I think we've probably seen them before, but the smokestacks, it took me so long to get used to the way that they look. But now I'm used to it. Oh, and that's also another great example. Over here, hold on, it'll be over on this side of the screen. You can see the landscaping. There's like a sharp hill. And I think it doesn't look bad. Whereas in CS1, it probably would have. Mm-hmm. Were those GUIs anything interesting? Sorry, I should be doing better at this. So what do we have here? No, we've seen all this before. Healthcare, crematorium, cemetery. Got it. Wow. Oh, that's availability. Okay. Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. No complaints. No complaints. Okay, that's still the same info view. That's a way ambulance. Well, yeah. Okay. So healthcare, crematorium, cemetery. Oh, they're building a death care option. Oh, there's the cemetery again in like much nicer visual than the picture that we saw in the dev diary. It's really pretty. Really, really pretty. Uh-huh. I think that woman was wearing a glove. Oh, you guys are in the way. Where are you guys? Sorry, chat, you're gone. This woman down here, she's wearing gloves. Like, there's that much detail. That's really cool. What do we have? Elementary school, high school, college, university. So there's further example that the college and university are like structurally separated. I'm in the way. Goodbye. So you can see college, university being separated there. Cool. Very cool. Yes. Wait, where does it say research facilities? Oh, down here. So they're dark green. Do we see any on the map? It doesn't look like it, eh? No, but yeah, absolutely. That is a thing that exists in the world. Yeah, good catch. Again, the administrative buildings and welfare offices. So what was it placing there? Did we see that? I don't know. I don't think we did. No, okay. Cool. Probably a welfare office. Hey, that's pretty. It's pretty. It's a dog park, right? Oh yeah, you got little paws and they're jumping around it and stuff. Yeah, right, Aurora? Okay, what do we have here? Park maintenance buildings, attractions, maintenance vehicles, and leisure activities. Ooh, that's interesting. Am I in the way again? No, I'm not. I'm only in the way of the park coverage network color thing. I should just go. I'm awkward. It's my first stream. I'm nervous. Parks and attractions has been separated from leisure activities. So what's a leisure activity? Is it commercial? And all those other things that we read. Also, look at the budget. Minus $27,000 in this city. Per hour? I guess? Yeah, thanks, Warner. I work out. Avatar Aang! Oh, you can see up here. You can see the burning happening. We see fire animation here. That's kind of cool. Watch up here. Cool. Oh, look at them all. You can see more over here. Oh, I guess this is probably one building, isn't it? Neat. So here we have fire and rescue, fire watch, fire engines, fire watch tower range. Cool. And it looks like you can toggle them. Being able to toggle what you're looking at is so nice for folks who just struggle to concentrate on a million different things at once, right? Also the budget, minus $67,000. Jail availability, arrested capacity, prison availability, sentence capacity, average crime probability. Cool. Buildings, prisons, cars, and vans. Prison van that must be for like prisoner transport, right? Rather than a police car. I would assume that's what that is. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. What do we have here? Nothing. Telecom facilities, quality, coverage, got it. Yeah, that's cool. The internet! Love that for us. Oh, and you can see it spread through the city, very good. Yep. Oh my god, that's so pretty. Yeah. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, we've seen this all before, right? It does. I don't know if this has been talked about before, but low voltage electric cables and high voltage power lines being a separate information here is pretty interesting. Oh, and then look, it says it right here. Wind speed and direction. Are you guys are kind of in the way a little bit. It is definitely a much more complicated game. Absolutely, Aurora. So you can see here, wind speed and direction is something that you can like physically look at in the game. Yeah, Red Mage, yeah. This is really pretty. Bring you guys back. It looks so good. Anything exciting here? Oh, these are the upgrades. We've seen them already, so. Always the nuclear option, yep. Okay, this part, she actually says funny things. This is the people who are making this marketing material having a, like a personality, which I enjoy. I appreciate personalities existing. Shit. That's fun. It's cringy and fun. I like it. Nothing super duper exciting here. Yeah, poop rivers are still gonna exist. You can see there are like, you know, markings in the water, and then the yellow represents sewage water. Very cool. Neat. You can power your city with poop. Poop power. Yes. Process me, baby. So much pollution there, eh? Uh-huh. I am. Nothing new here. Yeah, Amy. There's a lot. So now we're gonna watch an upgrade happen. There you go. Do you see that? So I think it was maybe Oogly asking earlier about if you add one of those extensions that like doesn't impact the lot size, but does add visual differences. This is the example of that. So I'll play it again. So it's an elementary school. It looks like this. And so the original building doesn't shrink or anything, but that one is the exact same. Now, what did this just look like? Oh, also, does anybody see? Hold on. Oh, I wanted to see what it was on. Oh, it was here. Ah, so this is just that main front page. Yeah. Does anybody see the name of the city? I know the pause bar is in the way, but you can see it. This is a new city that we haven't seen a visual recording from yet, called New Teeland. And if I was a betting man and I had to guess who built this, I wonder. I cannot confirm or deny, of course. but I wonder, right? This is a 27,000 population city with $9 million, making like a few grand a hour, apparently. Oh, and that's that. Don't subscribe to the YouTube City Skylines. Well, okay, hold on. You can subscribe to the City Skylines YouTube channel, but while you're at it and while you're in the mood of subscribing to channels, subscribe here to Toad 2, where you get these kind of chats and more relaxed gameplay. And I think you're fantastic, YouTube. Have a wonderful rest of your day.